Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. I know there didn't end up being an episode on Sunday. I know this isn't going to be out by Sunday. I haven't even started Chisels and Bits over there because I've been building on this and doing research for Betweenlands, which has consumed the majority of my weekends. And then I had some real life stuff, involving the house that we're working on purchasing. But I have been working on the Betweenlands area here. I've actually started building the second room that's going to connect over to here. And this over here, if you're wondering what this is our Betweenlands portal. It now has, not our Betweenlands, our Beneath teleporter. I moved it from over there over to here and set up a little area. And this is actually somewhat mimicked some of the little ruins that you spot in the Betweenlands. And then I started building the path out towards this building and everything. And I did do a lot of research. If we pop over here, you can see this is our Betweenlands area at the moment. I'm still working on it. Very much working on it. By the way, this right here, rubber tree plank fences, we're not going to get into this just yet. But you need these to farm Spectra seeds. And the rubber tree planks in this pack are not craftable. So I actually just threw out, it was 40-something rubber tree wood, which is way more than what it would take to craft 64 fences. But I felt like it was a fair trade because it's uncraftable. It's not uncraftable due to, it being a later age or it being disabled. It's just uncraftable due to an oversight by the pack dev. So I went ahead and just cheated in 64 of these and threw out some of the wood. Like I said, 40-something wood, just because it's kind of important, because if we want to farm Spectra seeds, we have to have rubber tree plank fences, and there's no way to craft them at all. So, just a heads up. And then I've started setting these up over here. These are framed cases from Bibliocraft, and they're actually using the glowing between stone tile. And you'll notice I have a bunch of this. I actually killed a second primordial malevolence. Went ahead and killed one. But these, if we shift right click, we can open them up, and then we can pull out. I only have 3 of them right now. I still have to make 2 more of these cases for right over here. But there's 10 different little notes from the Betweenlands, and I'm going to collect all of them and put them out right here. So we'll have all the different lore of the Betweenlands stored in these framed cases. And then I've got all the armor sets crafted up. I've got plenty of Valenites, so that was no big deal. This chest here is actually from a tutorial that will have came out Sunday, covering the brewing. So we'll still be doing brewing on, in the Let's Play. But I did do a tutorial, and I did a lot of it in-world because, it's 2 birds with 1 stone, basically. Because I needed to make those brews, and I needed to work on brewing and stuff. Then over here, we've got a weedwood trapdoor that has swamp water. Just an infinite supply of that. So I can stay stocked on that. And then we've got swamp water, stagnant water, tar, and rubber stored in clay barrels with clay barrel extensions on them. So each one of these can store 20,000 millibuckets. All of these are filled except for, let's see, stagnant water is only 5,000 millibuckets and tar is 5,000 millibuckets. And then this is our rubber setup with the Symarite buckets. And we have the infuser. We have little furnaces, dual sulfur furnaces back here. And then, okay, over here, I've got, these are green dendrithist aspect vials that are filled. So they have 5 of that aspect in them. And then we have, these ones are the ones that are being filled. And then I've got 3 Alembics right now. I may end up expanding on it and adding more. But honestly, for right now, 3 Alembics is done well, because that way I can filter out everything from a single infuser craft. And then over here, we have 4 mortar and pestles. So to kind of speed up crushing stuff up. And then I've got all the stuff here. These are all the different possible ingredients, minus 1, which we're going to be covering that in just a second. And they're all alphabetized. And then down here, I've got the sickle and the net, just kind of stored away. And then I've got 4 gecko cages up there that we can access for research, which we're almost done with research. We only have 1 other remaining item to research. And then in here, I have all the different materials. You can see that once we put that last one in there, there's going to be space for all of them. It's going to fill up 1 double chest. And the reason I have 1 of each of these inside the chest is so I can hold shift. Oh yeah, I've got to have the herb lore book on me. If I have the herb lore book on me and I hold shift, I can see what is in each of these. So when I'm trying to find certain aspects, it kind of speeds it up, because then I can kind of cross-reference and say, okay, I want Byaris, for example. Ground tangled roots have it. Then I can come over here to where it is alphabetized. There's ground tangled roots, and I can hold shift and I can see how much of each ingredient I have on hand. So just kind of nice. This is just a utility chest basically for seeing that stuff. And then I've got a frame desk here. I did make a furniture paneler. It's actually sitting right out here because I've been using it so much in this area to panel our furniture pieces. These are gargoyles, by the way, from Rustic. Little gargoyles. And then if we come up here, which this area still has a lot of work to do, if we step through here, this is kind of like our trophy room. So you can see I've got 2 of the shockwave swords. I've got, you know, those are critter crunchers, hag hackers and all that. And then I've got 2 of the the amulet slots, and then some voodoo dolls. I've got skull masks. These are just, I haven't added anything to them yet. And then I've got weedwood chests here, like there's rings. I did get a second ring of recruitment when I killed the primordial malevolence again. And he actually didn't attack, and I was wondering where this attack went when we fought him. There's one attack that he did not do when we fought him last time, and I've lived on the ever since I first ran into Betweenlands and added it to Divine Journey. I've pretty much lived on the forums and the wiki, like reading everything and and I remember there was like one attack that I didn't think he used, so I was thinking, well, maybe it's not in this version or something. It is in this version. He just didn't use it when we first encountered him for whatever reason. Not once in the entire fight did he use it. But there's actually an attack where he will summon whiteheads, and it'll be a bunch of them, like full 360 around you, and they'll start blasting in, like, you know, one at a time, and it'll get progressively faster. So you kind of want to run around in like a circle, and they're going to be hitting the ground behind you. You need to keep moving during this phase. Don't stop for anything, because it's just going to be like a non-stop onslaught of whiteheads, you know, blasting down like the little orbs of energy. They're all blue. You can't catch them. And then he's going to start spawning, like shooting out like 8 of them at a time, like pew, 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 pew. And it's like massive, like rain of death. So you need to keep moving until it's over. So, but that's one attack he just didn't use. And then over here, that's the glowing smooth crag rock from the crag rock tower. This chest is going to be for extra like critter crunchers and hag hackers and stuff like that. Over here we've got arrows, and then I've got some extra mutant like little lore pages. And then this one here is just for like excess equipment kind of stuff. It's basically just like a little trophy gear room I've got set up. And when I go to the Betweenlands, if I'm like, okay, well, I think I'm going to go, you know, try to find a primordial malevolence or try to find a crag rock tower, well, I'll grab, you know, a hag hacker and a whitesbane, which I still only have 1 of, but I have a ton of item scrolls to go through. Like, we're talking like 40 of the things or something. I've got a bunch of them. So, also Epic Shader Grab Bag. We did not pop that last one on camera. It totally slipped my mind that we even got that thing. But anyways, the last Epic Shader Grab Bag, we got a Usurper. We'll go ahead and pop this one, and we got the N7. Which we won't be able to use those until we get into Immersive Engineering, which is like in the next stage, so it'll be a while before we get to that. But anyways, so we've got N7 and Usurper so far. Also, a couple advancements that I got, and these weren't on purpose. They just kind of happened. First up, get a Pyrite angry by hitting its tree. I was farming green Dendrithist and orange Dendrithist, and if you go to the large trees, which I know we covered those before, if you go to the large trees, not the stumps, but just the large, actual, like, full-grown tree, there's generally a Pyrad hanging out around that tree. And if you break the wood on that tree, he's going to get angry and kind of go into, like, berserk and, like, really go after you. I was actually inside of the tree when it popped. Because I popped up to, like, one of the higher levels and went inside the tree and then, like, dug down and dug up, and it just kind of popped. I didn't even realize he was out there, and it popped it. I did get that advancement. It's pretty much like, you know, it ties into the Find a Giant Reedwood tree, and it's pretty much impossible to not get it if you are looking for the Dendrithus stuff. And then I got Release a Test Gecko. When I moved the cages, one of them I moved with Carry On, but then the other ones I broke, and it releases the gecko whenever you break it. And then I just recaptured the gecko. It was like, release him, and then, haha, not really. And then capture him back. So I did get that, and then, yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, we have one more thing. If we take a look in the herb lore book, we take a look at the list of ingredients You'll notice all of these are gray except for the ground dried swamp reed, which is actually really easy to obtain. You take swamp reed right here, which my backpack is, these are a mess, and that's because I just don't have anything. I can either keep making chests or do what we're going to do, and I'm sure you can guess we're going to be covering storage drawers. Then I'm going to cut for a while because I'm not really ready to record the next thing that we're going to be doing, but we are going to cut for a while and then we'll come back to this stuff. But the ground dried swamp reed, you just smelt swamp reed and then you grind it up. Okay, and this is actually the Betweenlands bone meal, so you can use this on Betweenlands plants to cause them to grow, you know, kind of get that bone meal effect. But this is also an alchemy ingredient. So let's go ahead and do our whole research thing. So this is the last research that we will do. And there we go. Challenge complete, fully booked. And that is the one for under Herbalist. It's the final one that we have. Completely fill in the Herblore book. And then I can place this one right here and this one right in there. So my chest is now filled with all of the stuff available. And my alphabetized ingredients are all filled. This actually took a while to get enough stuff to fully research everything. Make sure to have one extra in here. Make sure to have this, as well as do a bunch of brewing and stuff. Okay, but anyways, today, first thing I want to do, like I said, I want to go ahead and cover storage drawers. I want to do these on camera just because we haven't covered them. Then I'm going to cut for a while. I'm going to do a bit of organizing and sorting and all that good stuff. So in this pack, you cannot make standard drawers, at least in this age. You might be able to later, but I know at least in this first age, you have to do them with frames. Okay, so we need to make the framing table, which means we need to make trim. So we'll go ahead and craft just a little bit of our trim. And then we'll go ahead and get our framing table. There we go. And we got a place for my things advancement. And for right now, I'm going to put this right over here. Our drawers are going to be set up based on where we're going to need them. So my Betweenlands stuff is going to be set up over here. And then we'll do, later on, we'll probably do more of like a dedicated sorting area. But I decided for right now, I mean, we don't have drawer controllers. We don't have compacting drawers. We don't have any kind of mass storage. So I'd rather have the drawers kind of in places where they make sense. So Betweenlands stuff will be in the Betweenlands area and so on. Honestly, it'll probably always be like that to some extent anyways. Okay, and then we need to make frame drawers, which are just chests and sticks. These are all just standard recipe. I've got more skull masks and stuff. I've got more of all that stuff lying around. It's just I've got to get through all those chests and get everything sorted. I've moved pretty much everything over from the Betweenlands, but it's a huge just mess of just junk at this point. So we'll craft up our very first frame drawer, and I don't think anything else comes from the drawers. No, it stops right there. So make a framing table, and there you go. Okay, so what we'll do is we can pop our frame drawer in here. It goes in this left slot. And then we have 3 slots for items, and I think for this area, as far as the way we're going to lay out the drawers, I think I'm going to do the back side of them as weedwood planks, so that I can put them into the wall. And I'm probably going to, like some of these places, like right here, I may cut back on the glass a little bit to set up the drawers. And all the drawers aren't going to be in the same spot. So, you know, over here I may have like ingots and gems and stuff like that. And then I may have over in the farming, this will be part of our farming. It's not enough space for all the farming that we're going to be doing. Over here we may have like farmed materials that go in drawers. So we'll just see how it goes. But anyways, so we'll do weedwood on the back side of it, and then I think what we'll do, let's take a look at actually like pitstone. Because I've been using a lot of pitstone within this build. It looks really good. Maybe pitstone bricks. So let's see, this slot right here dictates the sides of it. So we'll put the weedwood in there. The pitstone, I don't want it on the front. I want it on the corners. So we'll put it right there. And you can see visually like what it's going to look like. So we've got pitstone along the edges. We have weedwood on the sides. And then the last slot is going to be for the front face of this. And I'm thinking we might use the smoothed or the betweenstone tiles, because that's going to make a nice, you know, flat texture for us to use to put items in. And I think it's going to look pretty nice. So we'll use weedwood, planks, pitstone bricks, and betweenstone tiles, which I can actually craft up. I've got smooth betweenstone right there. Craft up a few of those because I'm going to be making a bunch of drawers. And then we can take our drawer out. And we can just slot this in, and like I said, I'm going to pull up at least some of this glass. Probably a bit of it. I think I want like a big window here, but the sides I'll do as drawers. So, and I don't get the panes back, but that's fine. Green Dendrithist, in my journey to gather up orange Dendrithist, I've gotten a ton of green Dendrithist, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, so we'll pop our drawer down, and there we go. We have our very first storage drawer, and I think this first one, I want to store Symarite. Okay, so then we can just right-click that in there, and we can store up to 32 stacks of Symarite. Now, there is upgrades for storage. So there's tier 1 that takes blocks of coal. There's a tier 2 that takes iron. Also, conversion upgrades. In previous versions, I know I covered conversion upgrades. I think it was in Modern Skyblocks or whatever. But in previous versions of storage drawers, it automatically converted. But in the more recent versions, they've made it so you have to put an upgrade in there so that it'll auto-convert. And that basically means, like, if you have two different types of copper, without that upgrade, those two types of copper will not go into the same storage drawer. You put that upgrade in there, and it's going to put all copper, everything that classifies as copper, into that storage drawer. So, of course, with Betweenlands, we don't need conversion. It doesn't matter because it's, it's only got that one type that we're going to be using. So anyways, I'm going to cut for a while I get a bunch more storage drawers made and get everything sorted and continue building out this area, and then we'll get back into what we're going to be doing for the rest of the episode. Okay, it's been a little while since I last cut, and I did make some drawers over here. The main thing I wanted to get put down was all that weedwood. We've gotten 5,138 weedwood so far. I did have to do an iron upgrade in this. That's mainly from grinding up Dendrithist, and I did have to go grind more Dendrithist because I started running out of vials again. If we pop over here, you can see I've started working on a bit of the roof. This takes a while because a stack of mud only makes 16 bricks, but then I've been doing half slabs on the roof. So they go a little bit further, but it still takes a ton of mud. And then I'm making all this roof and this side roof. And then I've started working on these stairs. I've got to do the sides of them and everything and whatnot. And chests. I still have a bunch of chests I'm going through, but I have started sorting everything. I want to start working on this area, which is the farming area. We're actually going to take a short break from Betweenlands and start moving in towards farming. But to do farming, I want to get redstone before we start farming because I want to semi-automate some things because they're a little bit involved to manually harvest. And then over here I've got, all the different ores, metals, and then I have like our Dendrithist. I did farm up a few more life crystals. We have 5. And this is just the standard, like whenever you mine the life crystal, the 99%, that's what I've got socketed into here. And then I've also got White's Hearts in here as well. And then this weedwood chest here is life crystals like other ones. So I've got like a 95%, and I've got a bunch of these that are fairly worn down. So, over here is our fig that we got. I just put it on a table because they're fairly rare, and I don't really need it to eat. So I just stuck it here. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like decorative, because it's the only one I've ever found. I've only ever found that one fig. And then in addition, I made us a new backpack. Upgraded to a gold rank. And I made an anvil. It's over in the blacksmith area. And I named it Consumables. And this backpack is going to be dedicated to consumables. So I have overstock food. You can see I've got some pumpkin pie, apple pie, hearty stew, balls of sap in here. Then I have the Swift Arm Brews that we made during the alchemy tutorial, and I went ahead and made Elixirs of Feasting with potency of 1, duration of 4, so it's 9 minutes and 20 seconds of saturation, basically. Potency of 1, honestly, that's perfectly fine. It's going to be enough to keep us at full hunger under most circumstances, unless we get like a hunger debuff or something to that effect. And you can see right here, okay, this is 1 craft of Elixir of Feasting, and it made 15. So it was 5 per alembic. Made 15 potions with 1 craft of Elixir of Feasting. So we have Elixirs of Feasting for a while. You can see that some of these are in orange Dendrithist vials. I did have enough to craft 2 crafts of those, so I went ahead and just stuck those in the orange Dendrithist vials. If you don't know about those, basically the difference between green and orange, I know I explained this in the tutorial, but the green ones, after you drink a potion out of these, they have to be washed out in the purifier. The orange Dentrithus vials, you never have to wash. They stay clean, magically, forever. So you never have to wash them out. Just kind of saves that step. There's no boost or anything for drinking from the orange Dentrithus. And then I've also got some potions in here that are made, and I want to actually make a potion on camera during the Let's Play, in case you didn't watch the tutorial. And we're going to be making Elixir of Healing. Okay, this basically gives you a regen effect. And you can read about it here, you know, what all it does. And you can read right here, it says, the more Yaowen is used, the stronger the elixir's effect, which is potency. And the more Ordanis is used, the longer the elixir lasts, which is your duration. So, of course, in the, the last episode, or the last 2 episodes, we covered all the rest of the alchemy system, you know, the research and everything. So we're going to make our very first potion. So Elixir of Healing, we're going to be going for a potency of 3 and a duration of 3. Which for me, personally, I think that's perfect on Elixir of Healing. It's ideal. Because honestly, at that point, you can set in lava and just burn, and it doesn't, you're still full health, you know. So, Yaowen and Ordanis, what this means, basically, whenever you put items into the infuser, there is a 6 item limit. And you have that 6 item limit to play around to boost your potency and to boost your duration however you want. Now, if you don't want to boost, let's say you didn't want to boost duration, you just wanted to boost potency. In this case, let's see, Yaowen is the potency, so Ordanis, all you would need to do is just take your vial and just shift right click right there, and you're going to pull out a little bit of that Ordanis, and you can see we got 0.11, and that's enough. You don't need, all you need is a bottle that registers there being Ordanis in it. It doesn't have to be any specific amount. As long as there's Ordanis, it's going to make the potion. But we're going to be going for, like I said, potency and duration of 3, so we are going to want 3 bottles of Ordanis. And you can see I've been prepping up tons of stuff. All 3 of these bottles of Ordanis are at 5 aspects in them. You know, the max filled Dentrithus vial. And then we are also going to want, it's Yaowen, right? Yes. Okay, we're going to want 3 bottles of Yaowen, which right over here, I've got a ton of this stuff. I have an absolute ton of Yaowen. And then all we need to do is come over here, and we need to get our water boiling for our potion. And I do have water right here, but I tend to use this, and that's just kind of there for, you know, if I'm in a rush or something like that. We have access to it. And then we're going to dump our vials just directly into this. And the vials are just going to sit there in the water. And we're going to wait for it to start boiling. Okay, so our potion has started boiling now. You can see the particles are coming out. That signifies the infusion has begun running. And what we're going to do, we're going to wait, and you're going to notice it's going to start changing color slowly. Right now it's kind of a dingy green, almost the color of that swamp water. Well, kind of. Swamp water is more of a brown, but it's like a greenish, a dirty, dingy swamp greenish color. And we're gonna continue to stir this. You know, I covered stirring before. We're gonna continue to stir this at least once every 30 seconds, just periodically. I tend to do it way more than I have to. But you can see this is starting to become more of like a bluish color. Slowly but surely it's becoming like a darker blue. Now this is going to depend on what kind of potion you're making, as to what color. Okay, but you can see right here it's really becoming a dark blue. That means, generally that means it's just about done. When the potion starts getting really dark, that means it's almost its prime point. And we're waiting for a burst of smoke to come out of this, and it's going to play a sound. And it should be just about done. Because it's very, very blue at this point. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds per infusion. So, and here we go. Yeah, I figured. And you can see now it's become a green color. And then we can hold shift and right click it with our buckets and pull out all 3. And you can see we just got all of our Dentrithus vials back. And then what we need to do is take our infusion buckets, and we're going to have to run them through the Alembic. Now I actually have some potions in here. I was making up one other potion in addition to our Feasting and our Swift Arm, and that is Potions of Strength. So what we're going to do, we're just going to right click the Alembic, and you could say this is making a ton of potions. It's making a ton of potions, oh my gosh. So many of these things. All right, we're going to take our buckets and we're just going to dump it into our alembics, get that running, and what it's going to do, it's going to distill our potions down into an actual potion. Because right now it's still just mixed up aspects, so the alembic has to distill it into a usable potion. And then let's get our consumables. I may have to get more dendrithist, actually. So Elixir of Strength, we got 18 Elixirs of Strength. So each bucket was 6 potions for one single craft. Now I will say, I mean, compared to like, the vanilla Minecraft alchemy, it does take a little bit more prep time to make these potions because you have to cook down all the aspects and everything. It does get a whole lot easier once you get a Spectrus plants. But for right now, it is quite involved cooking this stuff down. But it makes so many potions. Not to mention they're way more powerful. Elixir of Strength, that's a potency of 5. That's strength 5 that's going to give us, basically. For over 2 minutes. And when we have that, we have plus 17.5 attack damage, which is massive on its own. But then if you couple that with, say, the Swift Arm Brew, where you can swing faster, you're hitting faster and you're hitting for way more damage. And realistically, you could even use something like your fists that don't have a cooldown and just punch the enemies, because you're still going to get that 17.5 attack damage. So I think fists do like, what, 0.5 damage? So you'd be dealing 18 damage per hit and just being able to just spam the attack button, which is pretty awesome. It's going to do a lot of damage, right? So, yeah, it's pretty strong. And then we've got our Elixirs of Healing, which will be done. And honestly, I have a feeling that they're not all going to fit in the Consumables backpack. So I am probably going to have to put them in a chest. I used to have some chests right here during that tutorial, but I no longer have them. I may have to add them back, because I have a sneaking suspicion that we're not going to have any space for this. And there are other nice potions. I imagine we're going to use other potions as we progress through the pack. But those are like the 4 staple ones. You know what? There is one other potion that I probably will end up making. Not right now, but probably the next time we go into the Betweenlands and spend very much time at all. That's the Elixir of Ripening, which is basically like, the saturation or the healing potion, where instead of restoring hunger or health, it restores your decay bar. So you pop that, and pretty much while it's up, you're not going to have any decay. Unless maybe you jump in stagnant water. But even still, it's going to replenish itself back up after you get out of the stagnant water. So, but we'll put a chest down. I'm actually running out of space here. We'll put a chest down like right here. I may end up changing this to like a vase or something. But this will be for like overstock potions. Because, realistically, I don't need this many of everything on hand. I could probably lose some of these Elixirs of Strength, I imagine. Because I think the main time I'm going to be using those is for like bosses and, really tough encounters. Because honestly, plus 17.5 damage on top of our 10 damage, it's going to one-shot pretty much anything already. Honestly, you could make probably a dagger. I think Tinker's Construct has like a little knife that you could make. You could make that, because if I recall, it has really fast attack speed. And you could couple that with that Elixir of Strength and just hit really fast. But also, you could use your fists or something like that. I may end up making a dagger for that purpose. I have a feeling I'm not going to have enough dendrithist for this, but here we go. Is it 7 per craft? That's massive if it is. Yeah. That one single craft of Elixir of Healing is going to net me 21 Elixirs of Healing. With potency 3, duration of 3, that's 3.5 minutes of enough regeneration that you can sit in lava and not take any damage from it. It's massive. It really is. It's massive. Let me go ahead and make up a few more. How much dendrithist? Because I know I'm getting low on it. And with the Symarite buckets, I'll show you how these work, because they're slightly different, but it's pretty self-explanatory, I think, with these. But once they get done cooking, of course they don't stack. What you can do, you get a Symarite bucket with solid rubber, and then you just right-click it, and it pulls the rubber out. And then, of course, we can just pop these back on. Basically, it just keeps us from having to craft a weed wood bucket every time that we want, to get rubber. Because I've been running through so much rubber on here. And the Symarite bucket also fills up a lot quicker, too. Like, if I... A lot of times, if I get, like, 8 of them, by the time all 8 of them are done cooking, if I put the buckets back on as they get done cooking, then, like, another one's refilled, so I could just keep smelting away if I wanted to. It's pretty fast. It really is, so... But anyways, there's some more dendrithist, and I'm now out of green dendrithist again, of course. Doing all of this, I've ate through so many vials, and then of course I have like a backpack full of potions, and then more on top of that. So, but we are set on potions. I mean, it took a few hours. I'd say about 2 hours, like melting all this stuff down. And honestly, I was watching a TV show at the time, so it wasn't completely active time. To be fair, but we've got so many potions that we're not going to need potions for a good while. We really aren't. Okay, so now that we've got potions done, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you do have any questions, I did make a specific tutorial that covers all of the alchemy. It's about 45 minutes. I mean, there's a lot to cover, but it covers all of the alchemy, start to finish, just in case you have any questions or you just want it all in one place. But anyways, like I said, we're going to take a quick detour from Betweenlands because I want to get into farming. That's the next thing that I want to do with Betweenlands because, you know, we've covered potions, we've got potions, but I would like to get into the farming aspect so it's a little bit easier to start gathering up some of the resources that we need. And it will be this tab right here. But before we do that, I want to get access to redstone because we can get redstone in H2. We just have to do a little bit of progression. So I do want to work towards that. And to do that, we're going to have to start into a little bit of astral sorcery in order to unlock ourselves the Twilight Forest. Okay, so first up what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get some Constellation Paper. And this is a Necronomicon ritual. Requires a couple rock crystal, some aquamarine, and some gold. Now, we haven't actually gotten rock crystal. We found rock crystal, but we've never actually gathered up any. And there's actually a place, when I was swimming the other day, I noticed right over here, we have rock crystal samples. And we can get some stardust here. Let me go ahead and gather this up real quick. Can't have too much stardust. And rock crystal spawns really far down. It spawns very, very far below the earth. It's around like Y10, I think, right? Something like that. Below Y10. It is very, very far down. But from what I've heard, if you find a vein and you mine up like that entire vein, you're pretty much set on rock crystal. And just so happens we found, let's see, just on camera, we've already found 4 veins in total. We found the 3 in the desert and then the one here. And I know where about 6 or 7 more of these veins are. The rock crystal, they're all over the place. I've noticed there's some in the Betweenlands. I actually found some on top of trees. Like the samples would spawn on top of like a weedwood tree when I was bouncing around with the longsword. But then I've also found quite a few more in the overworld as well. Around the desert and the ocean and around the red rocks and stuff like that. Found quite a few of them. There we go. There is rock crystal ore. And we got the rock paper crystals advancement. Oh yeah, and these things don't stack. I almost forgot about that. That's no good. Okay, well, we'll mine up a few of these. I mean, these veins shouldn't be. I don't think they're going to be, like, super huge. But the thing is, I mean, these things don't stack. And it's dropping, like, 2 and 3 per ore. Okay, so we've got... what's wrong, backpack? We've got this many rock crystals. So it's a fairly decent amount, I'd say. And let's head back home, then. And this is where the climbing gloves... I don't toggle the climbing gloves on a ton in this pack. But for situations like that, it's great. Plus, you don't have to have them on your hotbar like you do in Farming Valley. So that is a nice... Oh, hey. I will take this. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I actually made a Lurker skin pouch. And this is nice because you'll notice it's not in my inventory. And if you notice at the bottom right, or right of my hotbar, above our little amulet slots, there is a Lurker skin pouch pictured there. And I've got it set to a hotkey and I can open it up and it's... you know, a decent sized inventory that I don't have to carry around in here. Sadly, there is no sort button, but that's fine. Just gives me more space to dump all the trash that we collect along the way. So, okay, so anyways, now that we've got that, let's take a look at the advancement. That ends this line right here. But we're now able to make our Constellation Paper. So it does require some aquamarine and stuff. Let me go grab that. Oh, and I upgraded our Tartaric gem and I farmed it all the way up. So... well, it was farmed all the way up, but I upgraded another common Tartaric. And so it's got 973 will in there. I will say, I mean, the Sentient Sword has slipped behind so bad at this point that it's not really worth using. I mean, it's 8.5. If that Tartaric gem is filled, it's 9 damage, which, meh, you know, we have better stuff. Prismarine Longsword, especially as it takes durability damage, it does way more damage. And just wait until we get modifiers on it. It's going to be crazy. Not to mention, we're about to level it up again. We're already accustomed on it. So right now it has 6 modifiers. It'll have 7. 7 as soon as we get that. So, okay, so anyways, we are going to need to get ourselves... I may just make one for right now and then try to get the rest of them made, you know, just off camera or something. But I do know that the recipe gets cheaper right here. And you can pinpoint once you get up to the iridescent altar, but I believe that's like, yeah, that's like in-game. Or not in-game, but, you know, that's late-game astral sorcery. But, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's terribly far. It almost seems like we could get up to that point in this age. So, I don't know. I'll make one for right now, and then we'll go from there. But, you know, Aquamarine and... oh yeah, our rock crystals. And I'm going to get some with like low stats. Yeah, these right here are pretty bad. Their purity and size and cutting and everything is pretty low. And then, oh yeah, we need parchment in the middle, right? So let me go get that. Oh, we can make it, oh, we can do that though. We can make it in the luminous crafting table now. We're going to do that. In fact, I don't know if we have enough starlight at the moment or if we have to wait till night. Well, it seems like it can craft it. Okay, so we're going to need to make ourselves a resonating wand. But to make the resonating wand, we need an ender pearl, which we're going to have to melt down ender pearls and then cast them into a pan cast. And that's ender dust. It just so happens I actually have one piece of ender dust, which works out really, really well. I fought an enderman a while back that dropped it just here in the overworld. So... oh, you know what? I think I've got it over at the Betweenlands stuff at the moment. Because it was over there. It was whenever I was building this little building when he jumped me, if I recall correctly. Yeah, right here. Ender dust. Okay, so we'll just toss that into there. This thing is so filled with, like, junk at the moment. Let me go ahead and get a pan cast. And our ender pearl is done. It cooked up pretty quick, I think. Whoops. Well, that'll be fine. I'll dump out a block of gold. And there is our ender pearl. And now we can get our resonating wand. And so that is marble, aquamarine. Yeah, it's just chisel marble, but it should work just fine. I should think. And then I can do this in a regular crafting table. So let's get that. There's our resonating wand. And then our parchment paper, we'll just right-click that with the resonating wand. And our journey through astral sorcery has officially begun. And there's our parchment. Okay, so now we can go activate our ritual that's over here. And we'll just, there we go, get that running. And it is going to start a fire whenever it activates, because we are crafting an item with it. And there we go. And we got in filling in the gaps, defeat the Ender Menace, and Resonation. Okay, if we take a look, that was make the Resonating Wand, make a, you know, kill an Enderman and get the Ender Pearl, and then make the Constellation Paper. Okay, so now that we've got that, if you would like a chunk loader, craft a weirding gadget and place it down to level 3x3 area. Well, what we can do is we can hit shift right click on our Astral Tome, and our Constellation Paper with our Mara in it, we're just going to dump it into there and lock it in. Okay, so now that we've got that done, the next thing we need to make is a light well. Ideally a couple of these if we can pull it off. I'm not for sure what they take. It's going to take runed marble, chiseled marble, and runed marble. Okay, but it looks like we can make all of those with chisel, which is awesome. And it's going to take some aquamarine, right? What's that? Aquamarine? Yeah, and rock crystal. Okay, so let's get ourselves the ruined marble that we need. Whoops, I didn't mean to turn all that in there. Okay, I had to make another chisel, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and get this laid out. So chiseled marble right there. Then we're going to need our aquamarine right there. And then our ruined marble goes like that. And then we need rock crystals. And we'll try to find the ones with the worst stats. Ideally, like the worst purity. I've got one here with a purity of 4%, which is... that's abysmal purity, to say the least. Let's grab like a couple of these. I don't know that we're going to have enough. Yeah, see, we need more Starlight before this will work. Okay, we've got enough Starlight now. As the sun starts going down, it'll go up. So let's go ahead and get this crafted. And I'm going to go ahead and craft 4 of these light wells, because we're definitely going to want them. They're quite useful to have multiples of. And there we go. We got the Liquefy advancement for making our first light well. Okay, so now that we've got that done, let's just set these up somewhere for right now. And I guess... oh, let's see. We'll set them up over here for right now, and we're going to find a better spot for these in just a minute. So we'll just do all 4 of our light wells, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this rock crystal and just throw it in there. You can also use Aquamarine. Normally Aquamarine is more common than rock crystal, but in this pack I'd say rock crystal is the most common. And it produces more liquid starlight anyway. So we're going to take these and just right click them into there, and you'll notice they're going to start producing a liquid for us. Now these work better at night. Like, the higher the starlight, the faster they work. In the day they will still work, and I mean they still produce a decent amount, you know, passively, but not nearly as much as they make in the day. You know, it is nerfed a bit, but if you have them running during the day, that's fine too. And then I'm going to go ahead and set up a couple clay barrels here, like right there, and then I crafted up some clay barrel extensions. We're going to use this for storing up our liquid starlight, because we are going to want a bit of this as we move forward, both for decoration and for crafting purposes, and we're going to need quite a bit of this stuff. So we'll just do that. This is all probably going to get moved before long, but for right now this will be fine. And let's grab ourselves a bucket, and we should be able to bucket out. That one's not quite. These things store up to 2 buckets at a time, so we'll wait for that to get filled up. And as soon as we get that done, we're going to make ourselves a resonator and see if we can find a place that has really good starlight. Let's go ahead and grab all of this. And I will say that altitude is quite important. Let's put it in this chest. The higher your altitude, the better, up to a certain point. Going around like Y100, and I usually go about 140 or something. I'm not for sure the exact amount that's ideal, but the closer you are to the stars, the better, basically. Okay, so this is filled. Let's go ahead and bucket this stuff out. There we go. And actually, I want 1 bucket of this. I want to make this right here, the Phosic Resonator. So it's just 2 pieces of marble. Looks like probably any kind of marble. And then a bronze rod and aquamarine, or we can make it in the crafting table with a gold ingot, which is the route that we're going to take. There we go. And shift right click, get that crafting. Let's go ahead and empty these out. Well, I need my bucket back. There we go. Starlight geolocation. Awesome. This stuff produces liquid starlight so fast, because the place I'm at isn't even good for like starlight. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we can do, we'll put this in our offhand, and we are going to bounce around, see if we can find a place that has really dense starlight. And hopefully we'll find a place like, oh, look at that. Aha. So that right there, you can see that is dense starlight, and it looks like it goes up to the top of the tower, in fact. Which was not planned, but hey, I'll take it. That worked out like so good. Works out so good. So we could do like a little astral sorcery setup up on top of that tower, and it's going to be higher concentrations of starlight. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Up there. I want to go up there and see, which we don't have the elevator in, but we'll use this right here. Oh yeah, it covers like most of this little area here. That is perfect. That is perfect. Let's take a look at the advancements real quick. Okay, that ended there. The next thing we need to do is we need to upgrade our crafting table. And we're going to be setting it up on top of this tower, because this tower should be a good Y level for us. And what we're working on making, what we're aiming towards, is star metal ore. Which we do need the Starlight crafting table, which is crafted just like so. Marble pillars, chiseled marble. Okay. I'm really happy that the astral sorcery stuff can be chiseled like this. That just makes it so good. Okay, so let's get ourselves a bucket of liquid starlight. Oh, no, we can make it. That's good. That's good. Okay, so you'll see it's kind of doing like an animation. Looks like it's breaking stuff off of this crafting table. That is because it is changing this crafting table over. It's going to turn this crafting table into the new version. And we're about to move all this stuff. We're going to move it up there. Oh, we lost our Starlight. That's no fun. Let's go ahead and move this. We might be able to get enough Starlight before daytime comes and it drops off. But generally those like concentration areas, the Starlight in those areas is going to be quite higher. Quite a bit higher. Now I'm not going to say for sure that this is going to be where we set it up at. Like our permanent astral sorcery stuff. Okay, let's set this up. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful sight. That is a very beautiful sight. Yeah, we should be able to craft this. Daytime, nighttime, whatever. It should have enough Starlight to craft it. Because we're at a very good elevation at this point. And, like, look at that. Our town is growing. I do want to jump, like, bounce around and with this and kind of see, because I want to look over there, see if there's any good astral sorcery places. But this tower, this might be the place. You can see it is dropping off a little bit because the sun's coming up, but we should still have plenty because it only needs to be about this full for it to craft this. So, I'll tell you what, this thing takes forever and a day to craft. It's been, I mean, the sun, look at this. I mean, the sun's already risen and everything. It takes a while. There we go. Your vision expands. You learned more about attunement. Okay, well, let's pull this thing up. And we got the Starlight upgrade advancement. And you can see the next thing is enter the Twilight. To do this is what we're working towards. We need the Astral Sorcery Star Medal to do that. But before we can do that, we need to actually be able to use this crafting table when night hits again. So let's take a look here. I think it's under Exploration, or is it under Attunement? Yeah, it's right here. Starlight crafting table. We have to craft this multi-block. We have to craft this thing out. So to do this, we are going to need to get ourselves the Starlight crafting table we have. 8 chiseled marble, which is no problem. 28 marble arches. 24 marble bricks. 21 sooty marble. And 8 marble pillars. Well, let's see. Sooty marble. Let's see what it takes to make that, because the rest of this should be chiselable. But I'm not for sure about the sooty marble. Luminous crafting table. 8 marble around coal. Okay. That's not a problem. So let's go get ourselves a bit more marble, because... Let's see, I'm going to end up running out if we don't. I'm loaded down with marble. Let's grab like 2 stacks, just so we've got it. And of course, this thing doesn't work right now, but we should still be able to craft out sooty marble using it. Because like this table still works, we just can't use these 4 added stuff. So the added features of Starlight crafting table we can't use, but the rest of this we're good for. Let's go ahead and we want to make all of that. Let's do just like 4. We'll go ahead and craft a bunch of it. There we go. There is a full stack of sooty marble, so we won't need that for a little while now. Okay, now this structure, I'm going to set it up. It's going to be kind of hanging off the tower. That's fine for right now. Like I said, I'm not for sure how we'll eventually set this up. And honestly, once we get into like the later game Astral Sorcery, we really don't even have to worry about Starlight fields. They're handy for a while, but eventually they're not that important. And we'll just get this laid out like the picture shows. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so our Starlight crafting table, now the multi-block is done. Okay, so now what we need to do to get our star metal, we need to craft out the star metal ore. So we're going to need some Nocturnal Powder. This is just black dye powder, coal, Illumination Powder, and lapis. And then we're going to need a bit of Illumination Powder. We can craft that in the crafting table here with gunpowder, piles of sand, which is just broken down sand, and then some glass shards, which we can get from smelting piles of sand. Okay, so let's go get that stuff smelting, and then we're also going to need just a couple other little things, but that's going to be the worst of it, I'd say. Okay, I should have everything together, and night just hit, which I'm not for sure how much Starlight this is actually going to require. But I imagine there's probably a pretty good chance we probably could even craft it during the day, because we do have quite a bit of Starlight in this, but I'm not for sure on that. Okay, so the Nocturnal Powder, this is black dye. Oh, it's going to take Illumination Powder, though, so we're going to need glass shards, piles of sand, Aquamarine, and gunpowder. And I'm going to go ahead and lay out for like 2 crafts of this, just so that we've got it. And there we go, that's Illumination Powder. Let's go ahead and get that running. I'll probably put the chisel away. I don't think I'm going to need it. And then for the Nocturnal Powder that we're going to need, it's black dye, coal, Illumination Powder, and lapis. There we go. Okay, so black dye, and then I said it was Illumination. Yeah, Illumination Powder, lapis, And then we need coal. That's going to be 2 crafts of that. And then I guess we'll go ahead and get... oh, do I have... I've got stardust on me. Okay, so then what we're going to need is stone, like that. Stardust. We're going to need a couple iron clusters. We're going to need a little bit of this Illumination Powder. We really only need 1 of these ingots, but I'm going to go ahead and craft 2. Just so that we've got it. And we'll get that running. We really lucked out having literally a Starlight dense spot right where we set up base. Now, granted, originally I was planning on putting a windmill up here, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll still put one here, or if I'm going to put just a big crafting altar. Honestly, this is probably just going to be a short-term thing. And then, you know, once we get access to the crystals, we'll do it differently. Okay, so there's our first star metal ore. I'll go ahead and get the second one running. And there we go. There is our second star metal ore. I'm going to go ahead and just put this stuff away. Because we don't need any of this anymore. And then pop down here. Oops, overshot it a little bit. And there we go. There is our star metal ingot. We got the Enter the Twilight achievement. Or advancement. Oops. Okay. I tell you what. I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so I'm going to end it out here. Next episode, we are probably going to spend the entirety of the episode within the Twilight Forest. And then we're going to get a couple things done. We'll probably fight the first, maybe the first couple bosses. I also want to gather up redstone. And then the episode after that, we'll start working on Betweenlands farming. And then once we do the Betweenlands farming, then we'll kind of do like wrap up with Betweenlands. Because the main thing that we have left after farming in the Betweenlands is, maybe just a couple advancements. Some of them are going to be done. They're more like farming advancements, like, well, we could knock out spelunking, stuff like that. But, for example, this one right here, none to rule them all, obtain all the rings. That's basically just going around and doing dungeons till you get the other rings. We're missing 2 of them right now at the moment. So, but I've been doing, on and off a bit of exploration in the Betweenlands just off camera. So that's something that's just going to come naturally. One thing I did want to show you guys, because we actually haven't covered it on camera, and I've been meaning to, how to purify tools. Because this one right here, this is slightly corroded on this pick. All we have to do is just dump this into the purifier, and then let's get ourselves, a few pieces of sulfur, and dump that into there, and it's going to start purifying our swift pick. So right now it's slightly corroded. Once it's purified, it won't be corroded at all. And then what I'm probably going to do is put this scabist. I'll put like 8 pieces of scabist on that pick, so we don't have to worry about it, getting corrupted. And there we go. Just because we had never done it before, there is our hardware laundry advancement. And we'll add our scabist to it. And there we go. But yeah, we've pretty much got everything now to enter the Twilight Forest. We're ready to go. Our star metal's ready, so first thing next episode, we'll pop in there and start doing a bit of exploration. I will say we're not going to get that done, but this right here we can make pistons already. We've been able to make pistons for a while. They don't actually require any redstone, but I want redstone because we're going to do some semi-automated stuff for, namely one in particular farming setup for the Betweenlands stuff. It's going to make it a whole lot easier because it's really not fun to harvest manually. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. We'll start diving into Twilight Forest, like I said, for an episode. And then we'll come back to the Betweenlands for probably, I don't know, probably 2 episodes, and then back probably to Twilight Forest. But I am going to show you guys a really cool trick next episode for one of the bosses. Just because I fought him before plenty of times. We're going to have fun with it. So I'll show you something neat. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.